Hi, Ask an RTC here, and in this video, we'll be going over all the things that you're going to be issued to you on your night of arrival, also called Ditty Issue. But before that, I'd like to say thank you to this community for correcting me on the previous video. On the previous video, I talked about the different pays that you'll get and how to calculate that pay. During that video, I stated that to make E3 to E4, you have to be 6 months eligible, then you take a test. And back in the day, it used to be like that, or the years to come, it used to be like that, where to make E4, E5, and so on and so forth, you had to take a test. But that's changed. Thank you for this person here. I can't really say the name, but EM3, thank you for correcting me on that. As of navadmin 274/22, which came out December 22nd, it states that effective immediately, the requirements of all active duty and TAR E4 candidates to take the Navy-wide advancement exam to compete for advancement to E4 is permanently eliminated. It is now based off of your eval. So thank you again for correcting me on that, and let's move on. Ditty Issue will happen on your night of arrival, which is the night that you arrive to bootcamp, the Golden 13. And you're going to be going around, and they're going to be giving you a lot of different things. And eventually, after you make a round carousel of a couple of areas, you'll end up in front of these desks that you see a lot of these videos of bootcamp and everything like that going through. This is called Ditty Issue. This is your first issue where you get all the basic things you need. So some of the stuff where you'll be getting will be your PT gear, which you will change into first. This comes with the shirt, the shorts, comes with the sweats as well that we call the Smurfs, and that's what you'll be wearing majority of your P days. And also at night, that's going to be what you wear. Is you're going to be wear the shorts, but also a brown shirt, and then you wear the sweats if you want to, depending on what the temperature is. You also get the basics such as socks, skivvies. You'll get your running shoes, and those, or sometimes people call those Go Fasters. And they have quite a few different companies as well. This is just a stock image I found, but they have like 3 or 4 different companies that they'll cycle through depending on whatever they're doing that year. And also to make sure that you have the right fit for your foot, they have these machines that'll help you read your feet, and you try them on, make sure they fit. If they don't fit, then you can exchange them right there, and they give you about 24 hours to do that while you're in P days. After that, you'll have to pay for them, but they'll allow you to try them on and then take them back if you don't like them, and just make sure they're comfortable, because you're going to be wearing them a lot outside from your boots. Obviously, the skivvies, these are the type of skivvies they give you if you're male. Females, they'll give you skivvies and undergarments as well. And the most infamous shower shoes. These are really cheap shower shoes, but the important part is just you wear them to and from the shower and in the shower. You don't want your bare feet touching. Carrying most of these things throughout the day, throughout boot camp as well, you'll be given a backpack, and it's going to look like her here wearing this backpack as she's wearing on the front, but you're obviously wearing on the back. She's just carrying like that because she also has her seat bag. But this is going to carry all the stuff. Most of the stuff we're actually about to go through here. It's a pretty decent backpack. It's not the greatest backpack in the world, but it's one you could use outside of the Navy as well after you graduate boot camp. Next one of the big ones is the hydration tool. Sadly, I couldn't really get a clear image of this, but it's just pretty much one of those just normal plastic bottles. And you just fill them up with water, but you can also fill them up with these Pedialyte or like powder mixtures for electrolytes. They sell them at the Next, and you're authorized to put those in. So if you're doing it for electrolytes, that's good. Always stay hydrated, but if you like, because you want to change up the flavor, of course do that as well. You're not really going to be getting many other options. It's not, they don't give soda or anything like that anymore. They used to about 12 years ago when I went through boot camp, but they don't do that anymore. Everything's turned into a healthier lifestyle. But yeah, you can add Pedialyte or these mixtures or pods or whatever that they sell at the Recruit Next, and you can use it to mix it up, change the flavor, or just add more electrolytes, because you're going to be moving around a lot. You're going to be on your feet a lot, doing a lot of PT almost every single day. So you need to make sure you stay hydrated. Next is the glow belt. You'll see glow belts on recruits all the time. You yourself, if you're a recruit going through, you're going to wear it as well. You put them around your backpack. You don't put them around your person. And this is to designate either one, it's nighttime, or 2, you're by yourself or in a small group and you're not with the normal division. This just shows that you're on your own, you're doing your own thing. It's for safety reasons. It's harder to see one person than to see a whole group. Next, you'll get these garment bags. Now, these garment bags are for your dress uniforms, which you'll get later on. And about week 2, I believe, is the fitting. It changes sometimes, but around week 2 is when you get fitted for garment bags. After that, you get them later on after they're hemmed and everything like that and come back to you. But in short, a garment bag is so you can put your clothes inside, mainly like your NSUs or your dress whites or dress blues, and it just keeps them clean. So after you dry clean, you put them in here, it protects them whenever you're moving them around. And this garment bag they give you, it'll get the job done. It's a basic garment bag though. There are much nicer ones out there. However, there's no need to break the bank and get a super nice one. This one will get the job done. Next, every recruit's issued a Blue Jackets manual. Now the edition is going to change throughout the years. I believe they're on 25th edition right now. but this has all basic military knowledge of the Navy and the past, references that we make, traditions that we continue to follow, how traditions change, maybe why do we call things a deck, why we call things a bulkhead. They're going to be explained in here. It's more in depth. Now you're given this, and later on you'll also be given your training guide, which the training guide is going to have all the Navy information for you to graduate boot camp. So it's specifically built around that, but it's all this information that you're going to be given through that training guide. You can find more information through the Blue Jackets manual itself. Moving on, we have the small knit bag. Now these are just little mesh bags with a zipper on it, and you use these for, you put your socks in there because these are things that you're not going to be labeling. There's certain things you don't label, right? So like socks and such, but you do label skivvies, but it's much nicer if you just kind of put the skivvies in here as well. For females, bras is good to put in here, so if you want to take the pads out, or if you want to wash it with the pads and make sure the pads don't go flying out, you don't know whose is who, you just put the whole thing in here, and when you turn in your laundry to the laundry PO, they'll wash it just like that. Next, you can see around his neck here is a little chain, and that chain there itself has the key for his lock. So you get a lock with 2 keys. This is the lock that you utilize for your A and B drawer, or you utilize for your C bag. And this is to keep it locked up with your own personal belongings. An A and B drawer will hold things like your wallet or any personal photos or anything like that you have, mail. And you get 2 keys. One goes for you and one goes to your RDC, in which they'll catalog it and lock it up in a locker in the off case that you lose your key or somehow you lock your key inside, which it shouldn't be possible because you can't close the lock without using the key. But weirder things have happened. But yeah, that's why they keep onto the second key just in case. Speaking of locking up your sea bag, you'll be receiving a sea bag as well. Now, these are just like the ones you see in all the pictures and movies and everything like that. So, sea bag itself is just a simple bag. It is waterproof, or water resistant, I should say, because there is still a little hole in the top, but there's a flap inside you can pull out so that it helps keep the water out. But it's really tough. It's really sturdy. I still have mine for boot camp. And to be honest, it's just a great way to move a lot of stuff around. So whenever I go on vacation or anything like that, I usually just use my sea bag just to pack everything up. And you'll be utilizing this as well when you move stuff on board or on your ship, or you move to another command. Honestly, it really is just like a really well-made bag. So there's no reason why you want to be able to use it outside just the Navy itself. Next, you get issued your 2 recruit ball caps, right? So you have one that's a recruit ball cap and the Navy ball cap. The recruit ball cap is what you'll be wearing throughout the entirety of your Navy boot camp experience. But at the end, when you pass battle stations, when you see everyone's kind of crying a little bit and putting on their Navy ball cap, those are tears of joy because you're finally showing that you're no longer a recruit, you're now a United States sailor. So the recruit ball cap is what you'll be wearing all the time, unless it's cold weather, in which you'll be wearing the knit cap, but we'll go over that in the end. Shoelaces, which are utilized for actually tying up some of your uniform items. Some of your uniform items you'll fold and stow them in a certain way, and then once you fold them up, they won't stay like that, so you use shoelace and tie them up a certain way, and your RDCs will show you that when it comes to it. Also, you will get your blousing straps. Now, blousing straps are actually utilized for NW Type 3s, and they're for you to, when you roll up your pant legs and the way they stay tucked in like this, they use blousing straps. You put it around your boot, and then you tuck in your uniform pants around that as well. What your RDCs will show you when you get your NW Type 3s. These are Type 2s, the blueberries. But when you get your Type 3s, the green ones, your RDCs will help you with that when you receive them back around P4 day. You'll get fitted for them around P2 day. The turnaround for them is pretty quick just because they usually just have to sew your name tape on. There's so many fits for the NWs, and they fit pretty loose, so you don't really have to worry too much about altering the size that way. And the pant legs are made long on purpose so you can blouse them. Next, one thing you'll be using right off the bat and a whole lot throughout boot camp itself is the stamp kit. Now, the stamp kit, you'll sit there and you'll set it all up so it has your name and your division number, and utilize this for stenciling a lot of your items. Majority of your items get stenciled. For example, some of them that don't would be like your socks. There's no way to stencil your socks, but that's where you have the small knit bag, which you will stencil. You put your socks inside, and then you put that into the laundry, and that's how that gets clean. But the rest of it, either utilize the stamp kit or use a Sharpie or a ballpoint pen just to make sure that you have your name on your items. Next, you'll have the sewing kit. Now, you don't really utilize this too much in boot camp, and this is something you should really have on you. As you can see, it has like a few buttons, it has a few strings, just the basics, necessities. So popping buttons happens more often than you think. Your uniform gets caught, or you just put it on too quickly, or you try to take it off and it pops. Sometimes when it's given to you, it's not even really sewn on correctly just because they mass produce these things. That happens more often than you think. Always keep one on you, whether you're in boot camp or you're in the fleet. It's always good to have one, so you just do a quick repair of a button. And if you don't know how to sew, there's plenty of people to show you how to sew, and there's obviously YouTube videos on that stuff as well. So some basic other products that they'll be giving you will be chapstick, floss, fingernail clippers, which you will need to clip your toenails and your fingernails before you do swim on the first week, just because one, it has to be within Navy standards. You can't have long nails unless they're within regs with the uniform regulations. But two, you also need to keep them short, because if you're kicking around and an instructor's trying to help you, they don't want to get cut up. Also good for clipping off little strings that are on your uniform that are sticking out. You'll also get detergent pods, which you'll turn those all into your laundry PO and utilize for just washing your laundry. You'll get 2 white towels. You'll also get like washcloths. You'll get hand lotion, razors and shaving cream, body wash, basic shampoo, deodorant, toothpaste with toothbrushes, and a toothpaste holder as well. Some things, depending on whether you come there in the summer or you come in the winter, is you'll get a winter gear issue. So you normally get thin gloves, but if you're going there during the winter, you'll also get thick gloves, a watch cap, and a scarf. And that's just because of the inclement weather. You got to make sure that you have the extra gear. Now, a lot of this can cost some money. And the question is, do you pay for this? The answer is yes and no. So you receive every year on the month that you came into the Navy a uniform allowance. And this is to help for any uniforms you need to replace or any uniforms that you need to dry clean throughout the year. And so it's usually around $200, $300, depending where you're stationed and also your pay grade. And so it goes up a little more as your pay grade goes up. However, the first uniform allowance you receive is when you first enter boot camp, and it's around $600-700, give or take. And that's because you're buying all your uniform items up front. Now, this covers about 80 to 90% of all the uniform items of which you will be receiving. So it doesn't do 100% coverage for all the uniform items you get it during boot camp, but it covers most of it, and it's an extra $100 or so that you're gonna have to pay out of pocket, but it just comes directly from your paycheck, so it's not too big of a deal. But yeah, so yes and no. Yes, you do pay for it, but no, not really, because they give you an extra allowance to make sure it covers it. And I hope that answers all your questions you have about Ditty Issue and all the uniform items you received. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Hoo-yah, Navy!